guys. In this lesson, we are going to talk more about taxes. So far in this topic, we've talked about the TD1 form, which is that form you fill in once at the start of your job. We've then talked about those earning statements, which you would get bi-weekly or monthly every time you get paid. Today, we're going to talk about the T4 and how that plays into actually paying and filing your taxes. So we know that taxes are required to be contributed to a particular level of government. We pay income tax, we also pay property tax, goods and services tax. Now, why do we pay these taxes? These get given towards different areas for our society. That's kind of part of our socialist economy. So it's going to go towards roads and highways, hospitals, education, military defense, police, fire services, parks, playgrounds, libraries, garbage collection, snow removal, all of that kind of stuff. It can also be used for welfare programs and other social programs like that. So the downside of taxes is that we pay them and don't necessarily have a huge say in how they are spent, other than, the political party that we vote for. So pros and cons, but we have to pay them. All right. So when it comes time to file your tax return, which this happens once a year, you need to make sure you gather all of the required paperwork and, file your taxes. So if you actually, by the end, you will determine whether you are going to be getting a refund from the government or whether you will actually have to remit or owe more money. So couple dates here that are really important to keep in mind. Starting with the tax date, which is April 30th. So April 30th is the day that all Canadians must fill in their taxes by that date and submit them to the CRA, the Canada Revenue Agency. Now, coincidentally, actually this year, the CRA bumped that deadline back due to all of this COVID-19 virus stuff. Now, your tax return can be completed by paper or online. More and more people are opting for the online option these days. And before you fill in your tax return, you want to make sure you collect all the necessary documents, most importantly being your T4. And I will show you what that looks like today. Now, there are deductions as well that you might be responsible for or you might receive. You have to collect and kind of research information on what deductions you might be available for. This could be like a green energy initiative deduction. It could be a fitness deduction. It could be an education deduction. So you got to kind of look into things that you might be eligible for. And this helps reduce the amount of tax you will owe. And if you are claiming any of those deductions, you are supposed to keep any receipts and evidence of that for up to 6 years. I know that's a long time, but you could be audited and asked to kind of provide proof for all of that stuff. All right, so understanding your T4. This is a form that your employer gives you. You don't fill this in personally, and it's supposed to be given to you in February. So you get your T4s in February, you have to file your taxes by April. The other name of the T4 is the Statement of Remuneration Paid. Remember, remuneration is just another word for earnings. So it essentially says all of the earnings you made this year, all of the EI contributions, CPP contributions, and things like that. You do get a separate T4 for every employer you had. So if you have multiple jobs, you need to be looking out for all of these different T4s and holding on to them. So this is what a T4 looks like. Very important that when you get this in the mail, especially, when you're young and starting out, this is not like an earning statement. You need to hold on to this. You need to keep track of it for your taxes. Many are also going digital, so look out for that as well. Okay, so this is the T4, Statement of Remuneration Paid. What we'll see here is the social insurance number, employee's name and address would be here, employer's name would be there. We have things like income tax deducted, employment income, the EI, CPP contributions, EI premiums, things like that. Charitable donations, etc. Okay, so basically when you go to do your taxes, this is the most important thing to have in front of you. The tax software will simply ask you for information from your T4. Okay, when it comes to your taxes, you got to have your T4 slips and any other maybe charitable donation slips or things like that. Now, you can complete your taxes one of three ways. Using online software like TurboTax or SimpleTax or whatever else is out there. You can do them at person at an actual store such as H&R Block or by paper. Now, more and more people are going for the online version. This would be doing it yourself. Typically can be free, but if you don't know what you're doing, that's not a good start. You can also do them in person. This will cost you money. So that's kind of what I'm here for you today. I want to try and show you how this works online to at least give you the confidence to try it yourself one day. Not many people do it by paper, but you can do that and submit it to the CRA that way. Now, if you have a very simple tax return, 1 or 2 T4s, it is very reasonable for you to be able to do this yourself. If you end up having, business taxes or, things get a bit more complicated, you may want to go to professional. Okay, what I'm actually going to do now is show you, I want to stay here. I want to show you how this is going to look on TurboTax. So I'm actually going to do the taxes on that getting paid and paying taxes worksheet of Jacob Blackhorn. And I'm going to be doing his 2017 tax return. I'd really like you to try and follow along and see how this gets inputted into TurboTax. Now, I would have had you have done this on your own if we were in class, but I just don't think that's feasible. I don't want you guys to get stuck paying for taxes by accidentally doing this. So please just try and have your worksheet out, follow along. All I'm doing is taking his information and inputting it. So I have his, typical personal information. He's single, lives in Brandon, Manitoba. He's never moved. I have his birth date. I have his T4. He also has a contract job, so he has a separate T4A. He is a Canadian citizen. He doesn't own property. He's never been incarcerated. He has made charitable donations, and he can claim a $200 fitness credit. So I'm going to be using information that I see on his T4 and T4A to file his taxes. Okay, follow along. I really want you to see how easy this can be. So I'm on TurboTax online webpage. I just simply created an account, selected I would like to file my taxes for free, and here we go.